Tasty, sweet, sweet, empty calories.
Sure.
So we watched the menu.
Yeah,
um I enjoyed it.
I did too. Yeah,
That's the main thing about it. Like the honestly the bumper is really kind of a good overarching summary of my feelings about it just in general because um while I understand people that want more out of it,
yeah,
I would have definitely loved a deeper movie which dug
yeah.
more into the satire that it's putting out there. But really, in a certain way, this makes me think of Triangle of Sadness, where
Mhm.
it's really using the satire to tell an entertaining story without really saying too much about it. That's very deep.
Yeah. Like there definitely could like I was kind of my thing about it too. It's like I enjoyed it for what it is. I enjoy the presentation. Uh, I enjoyed
Ralph Fiennes, man. Ralph Fiennes. You can't
like
fucking go wrong with Ralph
no Ralph
Fiennes.
Fiennes, and I thought the script is very clever, and all the
Yeah.
actors did a really good job.
Mhm.
Could have gone deeper into the like kind of class struggles it toys with a bit for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, it totally could have. But it doesn't quite have the balls to go that deep with it, which is again, it's not necessarily bad. That they
Yeah.
don't. It would have
That's the
been
thing.
great if they did. But that being said, like
Yeah.
what they present is still cleverly done. It's well shot. The cinematography and the choreography, a lot of stuff is really, really good.
Mhm.
And it's just like it's a fun little dark comedy thriller.
Yeah. I definitely like I guess one of my main issues is that I honestly really I kind of fucking hated Margot.
Yeah, it's like if that's fair.
Yeah, like I really did not enjoy her character. Like she was just granted, I'm not saying that I liked her date, but I fall somewhere in between the two of them where like I have some self-respect, but I also appreciate, some fine art going
Yeah.
on in front of me. Like the fact that I would be enjoying something on that level. I would at least be like, all right, well, this is kind of a stupid concept, but let's at least try it. Like,
Yeah.
but she's just turning her nose up at it, and I'm like, come on, man. Like, don't be rude. Don't be like that rude. Don't be loudly rude in this fucking place. Like, have some fucking respect for the surroundings. Like.
I mean, that being said, if I had to deal with her date for however long they were there, I think at a certain point I would just get fed up with all this bullshit too.
Oh yeah, but she's like that from the start.
True, but I also don't know how long prior to them getting on the boat they were like hanging out. So
Sure.
that's
But
like
yeah,
my one justification I'll give to it. I get your point.
yeah.
I liked
Uh,
it fine because I like Anna Taylor Joy.
oh yeah,
Uh,
no, I love her completely.
yeah,
Uh,
and
yeah,
she's clearly having a lot of fun here. And again, like you said, Ralph Fiennes is having a just again these puns are too easy. Making a meal out of this whole performance.
yeah, right. And then what is it? What's that lady's name? She played Helen in uh, she played Helen in Ozark.
I
Um,
only watched the first season
you watched the whole first season?
of Ozark.
Yeah.
Like just the first season. Like I couldn't. Like that's when I was
No,
like,
but you
okay.
got to the end of the first season?
I got to the end of the first season. That's kind of like, okay, I'm out.
Yeah. Um, I understand that. Even though it does get significantly better as it goes too.
That's what I've heard, and maybe one day I'll go back to it. But I did not like the twist ending, so to speak. Um,
Well, it goes further. Like the whole point of Ozark is that no matter what they do to try to make things better, something gets fucked up by somebody who's just doing their own stupid thing. And like sometimes things fall through for really dumb reasons. And every time it does, you're like, oh fuck, this just made things so much worse. It's really good in that sense. But what's her name? What's her name? What's her name? Janet McTeer. I like her very much. She's a great actress. She was the restaurant reviewer.
okay, yeah.
Um, and of course, it was really a pleasant surprise to see John Leguizamo pop up.
Yep. Playing just
Uh,
douchebag
Arturo
reality TV
Castro.
actor, dude.
Arturo Castro, I'm a big fan of ever since he's the gay best friend on Broad City.
I've never seen Broad City. It's like,
Oh, Broad City's so good. But yeah, so some pleasant people to see pop up, and generally everyone does a pretty good job with their roles.
Yeah,
There's not a lot that they can do with it, but what they have, like they do what they're supposed to well enough.
yeah. Like in a weird way, kind of way, almost feels like a murder mystery night kind of kind of a vibe to it.
It
Uh,
has that vibe, but it's definitely not that.
no, it's definitely not that, but it has that vibe of like a murder mystery party.
Yeah, yeah,
You're
and I
just
found
kind
that
of saying like,
interesting.
what kind of wacky shit's gonna happen next? Uh,
Yeah,
and that kind of
and
keeps you relatively invested. And like I
that's
said,
the
like
thing.
okay,
Part of it's like you're like, what is the thing that's going to happen next? Is kind of this whole thing where you're sitting there like, what's the point of this? Like, where are they going with this?
yeah.
And the funny thing is that in the end, it doesn't really have one. It
I
was
mean, it
kind
goes
of
where
just
it's going.
it goes where it's going, but ultimately, like the emotional payoff, so to speak, is not really like it's like okay, I guess. Like I was like, all right, if you're trying to find a way to have this be a certain type of resolution for this general singular point of conflict in the movie, then sure. But otherwise, the rest of it is just what it is. Like,
I don't know. I'd say it's probably like I'll give it a little more credit than that. I think I feel like there is still like a point being made, or at least like a character point being made, with how things ultimately resolve. And I kind of like how it ended without going to spoilers.
mhm.
Um, and the ending made sense to me. It's like okay, I like these resolution. I like how this
I mean, it
went.
makes sense.
Yeah.
It makes sense. It's not that it doesn't make sense. It's just that, I mean, in my mind, it was ultimately kind of predictable on a certain level.
That doesn't make it bad though.
No, I'm not saying it's bad. I'm just like, all right, well, this just feels like it fits with what they were doing. And it just didn't add anything beyond what I knew was already going to happen. You know, the execution of it wasn't particularly clever, didn't give me any additional emotional payoff to what it was. And like, I don't know. I just I was like, all right, it works. It ultimately it's like the rest of the movie for me. It's like this fits the tone they're doing. I can see what they're trying to do. But one of the big things about it is that this is I don't know how much of this feels like it's spoilers and not because the trailer gave away pretty much the whole movie
Mm,
essentially. Um and you know there's the whole tension of like, oh, I get like will they escape or not? Do they even deserve to escape? Like what's going on? And
yeah.
so yeah, I don't want to get too deep into what actually happens, but this is clearly, in my mind, a metaphor for filmmakers who have just grown to hate everything about their job. Like
I could
they
see that.
hate the critics, they hate the fandom, they hate the people who cheapen their craft and just like don't actually give a shit about what they do.
And they
And
hate the
they're like,
people that unintentionally gave them a really shitty day off.
yeah, right. And they hate the people who like they hate the people who like really want this thing without really understanding what it is. Like there's so many instances throughout the movie where every single thing they do I can see as a metaphor for just filmmakers, like the filmmakers being like, here's another fucking thing we hate about like working as filmmakers. Like this is the kind of fan we hate. This is the
Mm-hmm.
kind of like critics we hate. Like who the fuck are you? Like
Mm-hmm.
just and from that perspective, the movie is ultimately just a big fuck you. I hate this job. Like
Which I would say I'm kind of okay with. Maybe that's
that's
why
all I'm saying. Like I don't.
maybe I saw this at the right time because I did see that where it is kind of my state of mind right now.
Yeah, yeah.
So maybe it just connected better for me and like the cynical like fuck everything and fuck
Exactly.
everyone.
So
Um
that's my whole point about it. Like ultimately, it's not about it being a deep satire. It's not
it's
about it
not a deep
having
satire.
anything more to say. It really is just like a vindictive middle finger of these guys venting their frustrations. Like they
Yeah.
just like this is really just them being like, no, this is all it is. It's just fuck this. Fuck all of these people. Like fuck this,
Yeah.
fuck you. Like I hate my job for these reasons and I wish I could still love my job. And there's like ways that I could potentially still love it, but mostly fuck all of you. Like just
Well, that's how the resolution comes into play too. Is that one brief moment like, okay, well, I like this part. I'm still gonna follow through.
Yeah, right.
But I had I had a good moment.
Yeah, right. Or even like the part with the guy who funded the restaurant.
Yeah.
That's again easy parallel to industry stuff. And like I can't, and of course you can kind of pull back wider and call it a metaphor for any artist in any industry that's predatory, whether you're the music industry or paintings, like any kind of thing where you have the artist versus the
Consumer.
culture and the industry machine and like all that shit. Like you could draw that parallel in general, but given that this is made by filmmakers,
Yeah,
and given like especially like Nick Holt's character, the date,
yeah.
like that is clearly just one of those annoying fanboys.
He's like, I want him to like me. I want
Yeah,
him to like
right.
me so badly.
And honestly, like to be real, I was that kind of fanboy with my favorite band, but that has me like that worked out for me. So
I
that's
mean,
a
like,
very
like,
rare
like
instance.
that's one of those cases where I feel like everyone kind of goes through a phase like that, but you learn to temper it down, and there's people that just
Yeah,
never learn
definitely.
to.
Definitely. But that's the thing. Like I feel like I fall somewhere between Margot and her date. Just for like I super appreciate it, but they understand that I appreciate it from an actual place of appreciation and understanding.
Yeah,
And I'm not super irritating about it.
because I
And
think we all have that fantasy of like meeting our favorite star or creator of some kind, and they're just
yeah.
gonna be like, you know what, you seem cool. Let's be best friends. And we're like, okay, cool.
Yeah. I mean, now I have an open invitation to his house. So that's
Well, you actually did it. That's not fair.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. So like, just don't be an asshole about it. Like actually approach it genuinely. Who knows? Maybe your favorite star is not a fucking prick. And it helps that they're not like super gigantic, crazy, like popular. I wouldn't be able to do that with someone like a Lady Gaga or something, but um
I got a commendation from David Tennant once. Proud of that one. But
oh, that's cool.
yeah,
I did have a good time meeting Bruce Campbell a long time ago. Like
nice.
we definitely had a cool short conversation and that was interesting. But yeah, no, and I think that's one of the things when you're talking about people who are more on a Bruce Campbell level, where they have their cult following that is very loyal, but they are also very appreciative of the fact that they're like not an A-list celebrity, but they have had a steady career and they've been able to live a really wonderful and blessed life because of it. And they have an extra level of humility on top of that because of that. And I
Yeah,
think
for
that's
sure.
something like that. But anyway, outside of that, this movie is from artists who don't get to have that kind of relationship with most of their fans. Like,
This would be the pissed off writer of Peter Rabbit 2 got to make his own movie.
yeah, there you go. That's what I'm saying. It's like that kind of humor. There is that kind of weird thing, and I don't know if that's something that they slipped by the studio.
Uh,
Like the studio
Again,
didn't catch on when funding it or something. This is a weirdly subversive, like hate letter,
and again,
including
like,
to the studio.
which is like, but I have to emphasize, like, I don't know, they greenlit Peter Rabbit 2, and that was way more overt than this. So, like, I
Yeah,
just think they just genuinely don't pay attention when when they're the ones being made fun of.
sure. Like sometimes, but
Eh,
yeah. So as long as you keep in mind, like I said, it's empty calories. It's nothing really filling to chew on. It's
That's
literally
the
just
next
like,
movie we're talking about.
huh? Yeah. Well, that's this is something that's like popcorn. It's light,
Mm,
it's fun, it's tasty. Afterwards, you're probably getting hungry for something real. But overall, if you're happy with that little snack and you understand that it's not going to be some gourmet shit, you're just there to enjoy something like quick and fun. Like, yeah, enjoy it. It's good. It's not great, but it's good.
No, I had a fun time with it. I liked
Yeah.
the presentation. I like how everything came together. I liked all the performances involved. These are all actors I really, really like.
Yeah.
And
This
like I
is
said, it's like I loved Anna Taylor-Joy's and Ralph Fiennes' chemistry together. I thought they had great
yeah.
chemistry.
Uh,
So like
I would say this is not fine dining. It's more like, a simple cheeseburger.
it's like a solid 7.5, 8 out of 10 for me.
Yeah, I give it a 7 out of 10 in my
Yeah.
mind.
So
So
like enjoyable. I'd probably watch it again just for like popcorn fun.
yeah,
Um,
I would be down to watch it again, like just as a passive, fun little thing.
yeah, but it's not gonna end my top 10 list for sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I think it's all I can really say about the maybe without going to spoilers, but I don't really think we need to for this
I
one.
don't think we need to go into spoilers.
Yeah, so I think we should
Is
probably
there
just
anything you
I
want
think
to
we should wrap
say?
it up there because I think that's a pretty good conclusive note to end it on.
All right,
And we
cool.
got
There we go.
and then we talk about Arabelle getting old and tired. So let's wrap it up here.
Okay.
Correction, I'm getting old and tired. And cynical and fuck everything and fuck everyone, including Human Centipede. Good night.